Welcome to this debate, which is sponsored by Concern Universal, and our motion this evening is: should the government reduce its overseas aid budget? And our participants in the debate today, who've all come across Concern Universal in various places, are students either at A level or indeed, in one case, at university level as well.
I think it's too simple to see aid just as charity as a loan. There are a lot of benefits received by the giver. It tackles immigration, provided it's given in sufficient amounts. It tackles the environmental problems that we're all facing at the moment: biodiversity loss and climate change. It addresses diseases that don't know any state boundaries. Of course, it wins hearts and minds, which supports our troops in combat elsewhere around the world. It addresses drugs, which are a major problem on our streets and one of the main reasons for the deprivation in this country. And of course, it wins friends and influences people. Now, I strongly believe that aid should be given for the express reason of helping those to which it is given. But I think it's important, what I'll be arguing, is it also provides an important service for the British people as well.
My argument, as Francine has said, is that we should cut our overseas aid budget this year and in subsequent years until our economic growth returns to the British economy and until we can successfully reduce our budget deficit, which I don't need to remind anyone stands at a record level. Prudence now will allow us to provide a greater amount of aid in the future, not only to those in the most needy of situations, but at those around the world that need our help. In my opinion, foreign aid should be a plank of British foreign policy. And what we cannot allow, however, is that promises made now in economic uncertainty for those to be broken because of changeable economic circumstances.
UK aid has helped 12.5 million people with better sanitation, 1 million people with clean water, and 3 million children vaccinated against measles. It has also trained 100,000 teachers. These are not expendable figures. These are human rights, and I believe that cutting the budget would completely undermine unstable projects in the future. I don't think that we can any longer relate ourselves to what we believe that we deserve in the best case scenario. We're a single cell in a global organism, and we need to stop thinking that we deserve more than other people just because we've been born in this society.
One of our big statements from our side is obviously we're not heartless people. We don't intend to completely obliterate all foreign aid given from the UK to foreign countries, but I think under certain circumstances, especially in the last few years, I think you all appreciate and know just how serious the situation is in Britain with the deficit and economic crisis. And one of the facts that really shocked me is that the current amount of aid that the UK gives to foreign countries stands at, I think it was 6.8 million last year, which is 7 times the amount of the deficit on the NHS, which is the amount it would cost to bring the NHS back up to our regular standard.
About half the world's people still live on less than $2 a day. Now, if you think about how much you earn in a day, or your parents earn, or things like that, it's horrible to think of what that must be like. We take clean water for granted. You know, I've got clean water there, I can help myself to it. And yet there are children in Africa, in Latin America, I think it's about 4,000 a day, that die from diarrhea. It's a preventable illness, and yet it's not prevented because they don't have the money to do it. So I think we have a responsibility as one of the richer nations of the world to give just a little bit of our money. It's not even 1%, it's 0.5%, I think, at the moment, of our GDP. And we have a responsibility to help those people who can't help themselves.
I agree with Maggie on some counts. I believe it is a privilege of the highest degree for a country to be able to give aid to foreign countries that need it, but is a privilege that can only be used from a position of strength. And with unemployment on the rise and a budget deficit that means all areas of public spending must be savagely cut, we're certainly not in that position of strength at the moment. I'm not saying we should never spend money on foreign aid. That would be an utterly ridiculous thing. It's vital that we spend money on foreign aid. But what I'm saying is our government has such a heavy responsibility towards our own country. That's what it's there for. And if we are to economise on all other areas of public spending, then it's only fair that we should also economise on what we spend in foreign aid.
Right, now prepare yourselves, search your consciences. The motion, just to remind you, is should the government reduce its overseas aid budget? Could I ask all those in favour of that possible reduction to raise their hands? We've definitely had some conversions. And all those against? Well, the motion has been defeated, but I have to say you have won some support. So congratulations. Thank you very much indeed.